After many months, I'm excited to say the Pixel tablet just got a huge upgrade. Google's latest Android 15 beta finally introduced a desktop windowing mode, a feature that is supposed to make productivity a lot easier like you're used to on traditional Windows, Chrome OS, or Mac. To me, this is definitely the multitasking upgrade I've been waiting for, and now that I have QPR1 Beta 2 installed, let me show you how it works, talk about the new features, and share some first-hand impressions. Of course, if you find this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel as we have a lot more Android content coming your way. Before we get into all that, let me show you how to activate this feature if you want to try it out for yourself. Basically, to get it enabled, you do need to do a few things. First, and most importantly, you need to be on the latest Android 15 beta as it was introduced in QPR1 Beta 2. For those who don't know, real quick, QPR betas are quarterly update previews where developers or early adopters can test out upcoming features before they're released to the general public. If you need help getting started, we do have a link in the description, so check it out if you need it. That said, once the latest beta is installed, you will need to go to Settings, System, Developer Options, enable Freeform Windows, and then reboot your device. To me, it is implied that this developer options won't be the case in the full release, but for now, this is how we can gain access. Now that your device is rebooted, you are ready to start playing around with the desktop experience. You can trigger the desktop mode / freeform windows in a few ways. One is by pressing and holding on the new window handle at the top center of the app screen and then dragging it downwards, where you'll get this nice little animation, then a window in the center of your screen where you can move or drag around accordingly. More on that later. The second way you can activate is by plugging in or pairing a keyboard and using a shortcut, that being Windows plus Control plus the down arrow. You can also long press on an app icon in the Recents menu and hit the new desktop option as well. To exit desktop mode, just close all the active app windows manually, drag any app windows to the top of your screen, or use a keyboard shortcut, that being Windows plus the H key. Now let's talk about the core features of desktop mode so that you know what to expect. In our testing, you have a few main functions here. One of them, of course, is freeform windows and flexible sizing, where you can freely change the dimensions of any app window and reposition app windows on the tablet screen pretty much anywhere so you can get a perfect fit that works best for you. The app windows have resizing options in the top right corner, kind of like Chrome OS, Windows, or Mac, where you can snap the windows to the ends of the display for a split screen view, although you can also drag the window panes to the edge of the display for that same effect. By default, the taskbar is always visible at the bottom of the display for easy access, but you can manually turn that off by long pressing on the divider and then hitting that always show taskbar toggle, where once it disappears, it can be summoned again by bringing your mouse cursor to the bottom of the screen. Finally, at least for now, you can have 4 app windows open at once, which is more than enough for me, but if you really want to take things further, you can technically have the YouTube mini player floating on top as well for 5 active items at once. Right now, this is just first impressions, and I'm sure the feature has a long way to go, but to me, this is the closest Android has felt to a desktop-like experience, aside from Samsung DeX, obviously. It's even crazier to think there's no official keyboard case, because that would make the Pixel tablet an awesome portable productivity machine. I will say though, pairing this with the keyboard and mouse feels great to say the least. It just brings a new level of flexibility that almost puts it on par with a Chromebook. You can drag individual Chrome windows into its own window, which is pretty awesome. You can seamlessly switch between multiple workflows like Chrome and Google Docs or Gemini and Google Docs as needed, plus the ability to hop down to the taskbar and open an app like Slack or Gmail without breaking the split screen mode is absolutely amazing. In fact, I enjoyed using this workflow so much, I wrote and researched this entire video on the Pixel tablet with maybe 99% of the ease of use I typically get on my regular machines like a Chromebook or my MacBook Pro, for example. As a whole, and to my surprise, this is well put together for a beta. The animations are nice and clean, the functionality is mostly there, and yes, it does need a bit of polish, but I'm very happy with the implementation so far. Speaking of polish, there are some small critiques or pieces of feedback that I did want to bring up. Keep in mind, this is still in beta, so we can't really judge too harshly, but I did want to point them out. Overall, I do find this new desktop feature to be a bit buggy. Sometimes the windows would not respond when dragging them to the edges, so they snap into place. Sometimes they would not respond to my my input if I tried to close an app, and sometimes the apps would also not respond if I tried to reposition them. Performance also struggled as well with the same issues I just mentioned, but also choppy frames or sometimes the need for a full-on restart to have things run smoothly again. Like I said, I know this is a beta, so I'm sure things will be ironed out before the full release, but there are a few missing features that I wanted to mention as well. I find it strange there's no option to minimize in the top right corner. Just change the window size or close the window completely. Maybe that's a RAM issue, as the Pixel tablet only has 8 gigs, but important to mention nonetheless. Another piece of feedback is we only have the option for 4 windows open at once, which to me makes the Pixel tablet screen feel crowded with so many apps, but I know others might want more. Another issue with the 4 apps open at a time situation is when you go to open a 5th, it'll automatically start closing the apps you are working in, which might mess with your workflow. And after all this time, the effects of Google never releasing first-party accessories are painfully felt, now more than ever. With no official keyboard folio case or official pointer options like a mouse or stylus, it just feels there's a missing depth, especially with how desktop-like this new experience is. Yes, you can use third-party additions and they work perfectly fine here, but I feel strange bringing this whole dongle keyboard setup to a coffee shop or a library, whereas a dedicated first-party accessory would be so much cleaner and more presentable. I did find this third-party brand on Amazon called the EIP Magnetics keyboard case for the Pixel tablet, so I'll pick that up and let you know how it works out, but I'll leave a link in the description if you want to take a look on your own. Trust me, I know that was a lot, but as I close out this video, I want to speculate a bit about what this desktop windowing feature means for Pixel tablets or just Android tablets moving forward. An interesting question is if this will replace Chrome OS at some point, and personally, I think it's way too early to say. We do know Google has been making an effort to use more of the Android stack in Chrome OS development, so at most, we might start seeing more synergy between the two. I do believe Chromebooks will always have a place as an affordable laptop-like solution, but no doubt about it, stock Android tablets need more productivity features, so hopefully we start seeing more brought over from Chrome OS over time. Another question is if this windowed feature will make its way to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold or the first gen Pixel Fold, since both the Pixel tablet and Pixel Fold first gen use the same Tensor G2 chip at minimum, so I think it could be possible with some tweaks to the form factor. Finally, the last thing on my mind is what improvements Google can make from here. Personally, I think Samsung Dex is a great example to look at. In many areas, you can right-click in desktop mode to open submenus, you have easy access to system controls within the taskbar, plus there are many little tweaks and additions to make it feel like an actual PC interface that I think this desktop mode in the Pixel tablet could take advantage of. At the end of the day, this desktop windowing feature is a huge step forward in the right direction, and personally, I think the more Chrome OS-like the Pixel tablet can get, the better. This specific edition was long overdue in my opinion, and I can't wait to see what the full version looks like when it's released in the near future, sometime in December, I believe. With that said, leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this new feature. For those who've tried it, have you gotten some real productivity out of it? And for those that haven't tried it yet, what improvements would you like to see in future updates to make it even better? Leave a comment down below, as myself and the Android community would love to hear your thoughts, but in the meantime, I'm getting out of here. Before I do, huge shout out to our channel members on screen right now for supporting us as we work very hard to make the best Android content possible. Of course, don't forget to grab the September wallpaper pack Mars in the community post, and if you want to gain access to these wallpapers for yourself, hit the join button down below, as we would certainly love to have you. For now, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9to5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.